Hey there, welcome to Moonride. So I'm a couple minutes late here. So I came to the door, of course, it's inevitable. I start the live reading and somebody arrives. But let's see. Inappropriate message for review. Okay, I'm getting an inappropriate message. No. Hi from DC. No inappropriate messages here, you guys. Just lots of hellos. Hi. Hello from Arizona. You guys are awesome. So one thing, you guys, again, don't worry about the trolls. If somebody gets and says something nasty, that's just not our problem. Okay, this is just practice for the future here of ignoring trolls. Let me elevate a little bit. You guys are seeing my process here before I go into the questions. So now, I had a couple questions. Let me just bring Spirit in here one more time. You guys can watch me do this. I do recommend doing this. I have a video just on bringing forth the energy, where I stand up and call in the man of the moon. I'm happy to share this to you guys. It works. It works for everyone. Now I always face north. And a marvelous lady told me, when you bring in this energy down, always put your ego aside here. All right. So, some questions from last week. Hi, did I see Linda G's name? Is she watching, or are you guys fans? Hi, Linda G. Okay, well, I hope Linda's watching. I love Linda G. Oh, hi, Linda, you are watching. She's so awesome, isn't she? Yeah, we love Linda. We love lots of readers out there. There's some marvelous ones doing marvelous work. Let's see. So we started out, we had this pretty interesting, really intense questions. The first one is from Angie. And Angie asked, is Pence a drug addict and a pedophile and involved with Russian money? All right. So just FYI, I if this were a normal person, I would never read into them like this. Once you become a politician, especially like this kind of thing, I do think it's okay. You kind of give up a little bit of your right to privacy, especially when you make statements against certain people. Let's see, Pence. Yeah, and I'm earning my money here, you guys. Sometimes these people really creep me out. Pence especially. Let's see. What is Pence doing right now? And is he connected? I kind of get a big no on this. I think Pence is a really messed up guy, but I don't know what the connection is to Putin so much. He's looking like this. How somebody shows they have no money. He's just opening both his pockets and there really is nothing there, and he's going like this, but maybe that's just a stance. So it's just Pence. Okay, tell us more about Pence. Is there some connection to the evil money? Tell us about Pence. There is definitely some dark stuff going on about here. He's making me very, very uncomfortable. I mean, like, image of Satan, kind of terrible. What you doing there, Mike? He's kind of in a circle of fire in a way. It's just, that's what I get first. Okay, inside the circle of fire, I do see that Putin is also there on the other side of it, right? And let's see, what are you guys doing? I kind of get a little bit of a feeling like there's a circle that connects them, but it's not a direct connection. And I get money, but I get that, Pence doesn't need money from Russia. He's got plenty of money. They're also kind of doing the same fundamentalist thing, but he's not actually getting the money directly from him. Yeah, I mean, he's getting his money from straight up just, weird donations, just from people who have agendas. That's where he gets his money. And it's a good old, like farmer town, kind of, Indiana. I should tell you guys, my parents are from Indiana, so I kind of know what it's like. Indiana is one of those contradictions where They were massively involved in the Underground Railroad, and at the same time, the Ku Klux Klan actually began in Indiana. What a bizarre contradiction! But it's a weird kind of contradictory place, and I don't want to say anything bad about the people who live there because people are people. Let's see. Anything else about Pence? He's not given up much here. It's like kind of Pence is kind of telling me I am what you see. The other question she asked is like he got some weird sexual stuff going on. I think he does. Okay, I think there's something weird sexual about him, but I don't know. I've asked Spirit to tell him not to show me some images because they're just too disturbing. But honestly, I do see something kind of kinky going on. It's just ropes. That's all I'm getting is ropes. I'm not sure they can show me any more because, again, I have asked. I just don't want to see some stuff. I want to fight against that stuff, but I don't. I can't really take visualizing it. What is it about? Who's tied up and why? Can you tell me this without any stuff? Okay. I mean, I kind of get that he's actually I don't know who's tying who up, but there's some games of domination and submission that he's that's like secretly he likes. Yeah, and I kind of had a feeling that he was not heterosexual, but this what I'm seeing is not necessarily gay per se. For example, it's just desire. It's like that he has this desire, and the reason that he's so religious all the time is that he's just massively suppressing his desires, which he considers bad. Yeah, I just get weird sexual hangups. That's probably not so intuitive. I mean, a guy who calls his wife mom is kind of a trippy guy, and who won't eat with another woman because he can't resist. Kind of tells us all we don't necessarily need to go here, but Spirit, what can you tell us about Pence? What can you give Angie, right? How can you give her money's worth here since she's paid a few dollars for this? And thank you for that, by the way, Angie. What can we tell Angie that she'd like to know about Pence? Mm. Oh, I wonder if he doesn't have some kind of a drug problem. I see a needle going into his arm. Yeah, and repeatedly. So I wonder if there's some secret addiction. Now, the needle doesn't necessarily mean he's doing that particular drug. Spirit just shows me this to let me know it's the most obvious way of letting me know that it's an addiction. Can we know anything else about this addiction? It's funny because he's wearing a top hat, but Pence is taking the top hat off. What does that mean? Oh, and there's a bald spot on his head. Okay, so I know he's not really bald. This again, I think, is just symbolic of we're gonna find something out about him. He's gonna take off his hat, and we're gonna see like a secret. So something's gonna be revealed about him. Mm, yeah, I mean, he's into some really weird stuff. There's something about a weird circle of people doing weird stuff that's kind of quasi religious, it's like bonfires. It's not quite Ku Klux Klan stuff, but it's weird. It's a secret organization feeling of, we do weird stuff. There's just lots and lots of weirdness going on. Can you tell me any more about this without grossing me out? Yeah, it has a weird sadomasochistic feel. I don't know if it's actually even sexual. It could be just like psychological with this group of people where they sort of, it's almost like a feeling of, Christ with the prostitute, except that they're throwing the stones. They're not. It's not a lesson for them in restraint. It is like this weird, really has this weird sexual component to it, and I can't get that much further with it because I don't know if it's that obvious. I think it's one of those secret club type deals. Mm. Anything more about Pence? Okay, they're showing me money. So I wonder if the money isn't ill-gotten gains. There's something else too that it's not necessarily like from Putin or something. It's more like a just something illegal, some way that he got the money, which he is secret about. It might not even be illegal. It just might be kind of unethical or unseemly that he got the money from them because he's really shifty as he's putting the money in his pocket. All right. Hmm. Ha. You just get that he presents himself as this, angel because he is not, right? It seems to be like a theme of the Trump organization is everybody who says they are something is literally the opposite. If you guys notice, everything that Trumpists have accused the left of being, every single thing, it's what they are doing, right? So if there's a witch hunt, they're saying there's a witch hunt going on. Well, what was Benghazi but a witch hunt? Everything is the opposite. So if you want to find out what they're thinking, listen to what they accuse the others of. It is pure projection, and that's what I get out of Trump Pence, and I do get it will be revealed. He keeps taking off the hat and showing that he's really bald. It's a cover. Everything about him really is a cover. When will we get this? When will we reveal this? Okay, now the numbers 1983 come up. I wonder if he didn't do something in 1983. We're going to find out about. That just like popped into my mind. But it's also 1783. It's also like he's living a couple hundred years back in a history. Like he's like a time capsule human trying to live in that period of time. How weird is that? Anything else about him? People will see who he really is at some point. I see him with a parade, and people are kind of looking down and not looking at him, like they're a bit ashamed for supporting him. Yeah. Okay. And I also see him with a whip. Again, something weird, sexual weird is going on with that fellow. And that's as much as I can tell you. I don't think it's anything obvious in the sense of we don't know yet what it is. It's just a complete. I mean, it's obvious if you consider the way that people act and why they act a certain way. Somebody who's trying to be pure all the time is, sometimes got something to hide. Maybe not always. All right. Anything else from him? Yeah. Don't be surprised if he gets taken down fairly soon before the end of a couple of years. Don't be surprised because the parade seems to sort of stop. Like he's in one of those cars, he's in his top hat. It's like almost like a aristocrat type looking person. But then the parade stops, and everybody watching the parade stops and says, "Whoa!" And the truth comes to light. Okay, who's she? I see a woman in a wedding dress. She's turning away. She's walking away from him. I wonder if that's his wife, and his wife won't leave when she finds out what his deal is. I think she doesn't know. She's an innocent. She really is coming to me in like her with her bridal gown, and then her eyes open up and she turns around and she walks away sadly. So that's what I get for Pence. Now I did get a bunch of other requests and I'll read them to you. Let's see. Number one, okay, believe me, you guys, these are pretty intense questions here. This is from Jen, and Jen is not fooling around with her questions. She is going to go right there to some heavy stuff. Number one, Felix Sater is a kind of mystery. He was scheduled to testify before Congress and they canceled, wondering what he knows, why they canceled, and if he will ever testify before Congress. Put into one question, what's up with Felix Sater? Thank you for summarizing in one question. I wondered about that too. What is up with Sater? So Felix Sater. Okay, Felix Sater. Okay, and Felix Sater is not to be confused with the other guy. Felix Sater is he's not the Middle Eastern guy. I know it's confusing because they have similar names, but he's the guy in politics. I realize again, I did not have time to set up my headphones. Sorry. I'll just set those up right now. People say that if I don't have them, it's kind of screechy. Microphone. When I'm channeling, I mix up words, as you guys I'm sure have noticed. So Felix Sater. Okay, so Felix Sater, he is a wise guy. All right, so he's in there, and he's a total, like, again, you know, player. He's like a backdrop player. Okay, and I can see his face. That's weird. He has 2 wedding rings, and he's holding them in his hand. What's that? What does that mean? What's the wedding ring mean? Oh, I kind of get a one to rule them all feeling. Ah, it's almost like he wants the keys. He's like a golem. 2 wedding rings. Why 2? Oh, because they'll come together, one to rule them all. Oh, he's been pulling lots of strings. He's pulling strings left and right. Yeah, he's far more powerful than people realize. He's got dirt on people. He blackmailed a bunch of people. There's something that he did to prevent himself from being in the limelight. So, Spirit, why did he not go before Congress? He lit a fire under somebody, and he made sure that he wouldn't. He's got dirt on some people. He made sure he went in there and he's set a couple fires for them. He's like, you don't want me to talk. You do not want me to talk. And that could just be what he knows. Tell me anything more about Sater. Yeah, he's got the keys. He's got the keys to the kingdom. Look, Sater knows a lot. If they put him on TV, it will be amazing. It will be like incredible. He knows everything. He's also really good at obfuscating the questions. So you really need a good, you know, Kamala Harris to be the person who's asking him those questions. Personally, Kamala Harris might not be the first person that I would choose for president, but she'd be the first person I'd pick for attorney general. Yeah. Yeah, her or, you know, most members of the Black Caucus, they're not messing around, man. I wouldn't want to be interviewed by those guys. Yeah, Cummings, all those guys, they're strong people. Okay, so tell me more about Sater, Spirit. What do we need to know? Yeah, he's living up the high life. He's drinking from a loving cup, almost like, you know, the cup that you win from the winner's cup. But he's in trouble, and he knows it. Okay, he is very connected with the Saudis. So that's one of the ways that he is working this, is that the Saudis have stuff, they have information about people who did things that are wrong. He can use that information against various people. He's making sure that he doesn't go up there. And I would say that it's not just Republicans that he's got dirt on. He's got powers way beyond our expectations. So let's see. Sater. Anything more about Sater? And he's done some really bad things. Yeah, I get that he's a totally moralist person. So, Spirit, why again? What can you get more specific? Why is he not? Why is he not? Why is he not testifying? Okay, he's giving a packet of papers to somebody who looks serious. So it's almost like he's making a deal. Like, I'll give you this information if you keep me out of the limelight. And the people on the left who are getting this deal from him are saying, yeah, okay, for now, this is what we will accept. This is juicy enough that we will accept it for now, in lieu of more information. Like, we didn't say no, but we're not bringing in now. He's scared. Actually, he's a little bit worried because it might be that Trump turns against him. If he gives out the information that he has, his political powers are over. His life is going to be a pretty difficult one. So they've exchanged the papers. It has to just, there's something that has to do with money that he knows about. And it does involve Trump. But it involves other people too, who are even more powerful. I think it involves the Russians and Saudis, and they'll kill him. If he gives that information away, they'll kill him. And so he's not afraid of the Congress, he's afraid of others, a lot more afraid of others. Now I do keep getting, it's interesting that I brought up the Black Caucus. I do keep getting Sheila Jackson and Cummings, and I get the two of them are, again, maybe symbolic of just like people who get down to the truth. But I do see them, and I do see them going, okay, we'll take this for now. But they're thinking about how they're gonna get this situation. I kind of get the feeling that they are trying to get as much information out of him before he goes on trial. So almost like to set it up and prepare to ask the right questions. He's really conflicted about how to do it. He's going to give them as little as he can, but that will not work forever. Is he going to testify before Congress? I think that he will, but it will be closed doors. That'll be part of the deal that he makes with them. Is if you want to talk to me and answer questions, I'll do it, but only if this happens. Because again, he's afraid of other powers that are going to put him away, and by that I mean kill him. And beyond that, right? He has loved ones that he cares about who they will kidnap and kill if he tells them the truth. Especially Putin. Putin knows. He knows something about Putin. I think he has a connection with the money. Did he have something to do with election interference? Yeah, I think he knows something about election interference. I forget if he's the guy that gave the stuff to somebody. I forget who. Maybe that was Manafort. But he knows something about this. He also knows stuff about Ivanka and her husband, Kushner. And he's putting pressure on them to cover for him. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and they're getting nervous. I see them drinking lots of coffee, and it's like their hands are shaking. They're trying to suppress this. He's working closely with them to try to stop this from happening. They're working behind the scenes. And it's even more Ivanka and Kushner who don't want him to talk. Anything more that we would get out of Felix Sater? Long dark history of his life. Yeah, this man has never been a good person. Yeah, weird, dark things that he's done. Maybe some, not quite legal sexual inclinations. That seems to be a theme here with the Trumpists. Yeah, I think there's some stuff he did, maybe Saudi Arabia, that wasn't really on the up and up. And the Saudis have a way to blackmail him too. The Saudis have so much power here. They have a lot more power than we're acknowledging. That's one reason why Trump hasn't gone after them. It's not just that there are allies in the Middle East. That's not the only reason. They also have money and even compromat that they will use. Any more for Sater? He gave up his ethical life a long time ago. I see a halo which he throws to the ground and steps on. He gave that up when he was 3 years old. He just doesn't have any ethics. Yeah, and if he is exposed, if he could be put in the docket and forced to answer questions, he will spill a lot of beans if he can be forced to do so. He knows everything. Okay, now I'm seeing him in court. Is he going to go to court sometime? I think that Sater will go to court. Is it one of the indictments that's sealed? Sorry, that's a leading question, Spirit. What can you tell me about Sater? Oh, okay, I am getting it's a sealed indictment. It's almost like, you know how you have those folders and you open up a folder at any business, you would have a folder and you'd open up the folder and you see there's a bunch of stuff about him. And I do see him in court, and I do see him in handcuffs. And I think that he will go to prison. Yeah, it looks very dark. The prison looks very, very dark. And I'm not sure that he will survive prison. I think they'll get to him. Like somebody will get to him and make sure that he never speaks again. I see a knife. Somebody's going to kill him in the prison. Right? They do. Whatever he gives up won't be everything, and that will still be too much for whoever is killing him. I think it will be the Russians or some indirect criminal people who are going to make sure that he doesn't survive. This is what happens when you cross Putin: is you die in prison at a knife fight. Next question that she put out, and this is again for Jen. New York Madam. The New York Madam spent several hours with Mueller, and her name has gone quiet. Wondering if there's a connection between her and the sealed indictments and her connection, if any, to George Nader. Okay, and if you remember, Nader is the creepy child molester guy, I think. Okay, so the New York Madam. Let's just focus on her. I think the reason that she's gone quiet is she's given up the information that she has. She did know something. It wasn't of gigantic significance, but it kind of confirmed some things that they wanted to know. And she's going again like this, like, hey, I gave up all that information. I don't have any more to give. But let's see if she's lying. Yeah, I get doors closed on this one. Whatever she had to offer was maybe significant, but not unknown to the Bureau. It's just a confirmation. Just a little bit afraid of the consequences, but not that afraid. She really knows a lot of things about a lot of people. So nobody's out to kill her. She'll make sure that a bunch of letters get released in all the newspapers. She's nobody's fool. In an interesting way, she kind of looks like a powerful person because she's not going to get pushed around. She wasn't born yesterday. Okay. I think it was about banking information. I think there were financials, and I'm not too familiar with this woman, but I see financials and I see money in her pocket, which she's going to keep. She's not going to jail. It's money that she's going to keep in her pocket. She's happy. She doesn't care what scandal she's involved in. She's happy to keep the money. And in an interesting way, she's kind of into her own power. She's kind of going, yeah, well, here's my cash. Too bad, guys. Too bad you lost. I wouldn't come after me if I were you. And these people are kind of afraid of her. There's a lot of people who she's got compromised information on. And again, I'm not sure if it's only Republicans. I think a lot of people are fearful of what she might tell them. She knows who they all slept with and why, and the details. And believe me, that's pretty salacious. She's laughing right now. She's just laughing. It's almost like this is revenge for her. She's set part of this up to feel her own power. And it isn't a bright thing that she's doing. It's dark, but she's feeling her own power. She's like, yeah, power. Ha. So I don't have much sympathy for her victims. I can tell you, okay, you want to play that way? Well, this time a woman's going to play the power game too. How do you like that, guys? And in a weird way, it's sort of just desserts, right? You guys treat women the way that you treat them. Here's a powerful woman, and she knows the truth. Yeah, I get the feeling she's smelling like a rose. She's not going to come out of this badly. She's going to just be even more famous. There's nothing on her. She know anything about Seder? She's rolling her eyes. Ha! Like I don't know anything about anybody. Are you kidding me, man? What can you tell me about Seder? Money, money, money. Okay, it's like a little kid's shovel, and it's like jewels, 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 cash, lots and lots of money. She knows how Seder's connected to the other people with the money. She can literally point to people and go, yep, him, and that's where the money is. And she's just standing there going, well, what are you guys going to do for me? I've got the goods. And Seder's giving her a diamond. He's trying to get her to shut up. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else about Seder? Sorry, I hope I'm not getting confused. Felix Sater, George Nader. All right, I'm pretty sure I'm not confused, but I do confuse names in this work. George Nader. What does she know about George Nader? Nothing more. She knows his indiscretion. She knows about his money. She knows what kind of person he is. And she would happily talk about this, but she doesn't. She's not actually important enough in this situation. She is a support witness. She's there to verify or deny a bunch of other things that other people are saying for Mueller. That's what her purpose was. He's pretty much done. He got the information that he needed. He'll call upon her, or justice will call upon her to verify what he's doing. She's happy to be in the limelight because she is protected. And limelight only serves her personality. It serves to help her feel more powerful and for her to get what she wants. It raises fears in many that they'll be exposed, which gives her even more power. She can go extract a bunch of money from all these guys. It also she likes to feel this power, and she's got nothing to lose because she's protected, because she could expose any one of these people. Anything comes down the pipeline for her, she'll be like, okay, you. This is picture you with your overnight girlfriend. Yeah. And she kind of made herself that person to know, right? Just so that she would have this power. She made herself person to know. She's got a revenge thing going on for her. Somebody, I presume a man, did something terrible to her, and then she decided this is how the game is played. I'm going to take my own power by pretending to be this, I'm so salacious. Yeah, that was a trick so that she could get her power back, right? Let's see. Alan Weisselberg is Trump's accountant. We also know that he's, we know that she says, he knows a lot. Yeah, let's see. Whatever happened to Weisselberg? Yeah, he does know a lot. He's at the top of the tower. He knows everything. Absolutely everything. He could take Trump down tomorrow if he wanted to. And everybody knows it. Trump knows it. And Trump is really angry that this guy's got power over him. He could expose him. So he's always really self-effacing with Weisselberg. Yeah, Weisselberg. Maybe we could just call him the Weasel. It's funny how these people's names just,
universe has just sent us a name like Trump. You know, we know what these means. These things have meaning. Trump trumps everything, right? And Weasel here, he is just like a little weasel. Yeah, okay, so there's a tower. Here's the tower. And, you know, it's like the tower's built, and half of the tower is like concave. It's like they built one half of the tower, but a quarter of the tower is like unbuilt. It's like almost like a mirage. So that's what he knows. 25% of the money for that building came from crime or an unknown source. And the unknown source that is unknown to us is there with the unknown source is there with him, and he knows all about it. And he is telling people. So he's talking. Again, I think he's feeding these guys what they need. Now this guy's afraid. He does not want to go to prison. He doesn't want to he is afraid of the law. Now, he doesn't necessarily have connections to, you know, foreign entities, which are so dangerous. His real feeling is that he is afraid he's going to get caught and go to jail. Now, I see the plot, like it's almost like the land that the tower is on. And as I look at this land, it's like 3/4 of the land around it. Again, it's like 1/4, 3/4 is almost like fake. It's like an imprint of a building on land, but some of the land isn't owned by you. You chased some people out. I think that's the other thing that he knows, because I know that Trump illegally raised rents on people because it was, you know, government housing type deals. He illegally inflated stuff, and that's the other thing that Weisselberg knows. The weasel knows is he knows that he's harmed, you know, innocent poor people. 3/4 of the money is just from this kind of criminal activity, intimidation. It's not, you know, it's the kind of intimidation where they go and turn the lights off in your building and claim that it was an accident and take 3 weeks for an electrician to come. That kind of stuff he is totally familiar with. And he had some qualms about doing it when he was doing it, but not enough to stop him. He's that kind of guy who, you know, goes to the strip joint on Friday nights and, you know, drinks himself into oblivion so he can justify what he did during the week. Superficial person too. And there is a tiny bit of shame in this guy, a tiny bit of shame. He remembers, you know, when his, you know, grandfather was a just person. You know, I see like a cobbler in a small town type of, you know, this was the grandfather that cared about him and loved him, and you know, was an example for that guy. This is a guy that's, you know, he knows better. He knows what a good person looks like, and he got trapped in the fantasy of superficiality in this lifetime. He had a choice. There are others who were always nefarious from birth, but he made this choice. He knew it was wrong. He looks a little bit ashamed. And he will get in some trouble. He will go to jail for a couple of years, I think. I see him with handcuffs, and I see him in jail, but I get 2 or 3 years. It's not going to be as bad as it could, because did he tell the whole truth? I'm getting this, like, yep, I said it all, but I think it might have been more like, maybe he said it in both places, but this might have been one of those where it was referred to New York to keep it on the up and up. No, nobody could meddle with it in the federal level. Can you tell us, is there anything else? I'm asking if there's anything else he knows, and he's rolling his eyes. I know everything. I know every personal detail about these guys, what they did, about their families, who hates who. He's like, I could write the, you know, soap opera of the Trumps. I could write it easily. He knows everything about everybody. And Trump is simultaneously furious at him and terrified of him. Look, when these people speak, sooner or later, they're going to speak. And the truth will come out about all these guys. They're not going to be able to keep a lid on it forever. and I see a wall crumbling. Their ability to keep this stuff at bay is daily crumbling. There are just too many bricks in the wall that are falling apart. Trump, it's funny that it's a wall. Trump can't put up, he's trying to put up bricks. Cover up the bricks, cover up the hole, cover the hole, cover the hole. It's again, just like the wall, all these things are so symbolic. It's like, Pink Floyd to the wall. They're trying to put it up, but they're taking it down faster than they can build it. In this case, these guys are really going to be exposed. I see that tower collapsing. I think that it will go into bankruptcy. Trump family will be financially ruined because there is nothing there. There is no hard work. There's no endeavors. They're just moving money around and making deals and taking crime money, essentially. And he knew that. He knew about the crimes that were being committed to buy a Trump tower. Just something to do with the banks. I get that he also knows all about the Deutsche Bank dealings. And he's got all the emails and all the records and all that stuff. Anything else about this guy? So I get a question mark, but then I get this, like he's going to answer all our questions. I do get the feeling like his face looks honest at this moment, like he'll tell us. I think that he's already said it all, and all this stuff is somewhat under wraps, but it'll come out. Let's take a look at the next question. It's about David Pecker, also very quiet. Is there a connection to George Nader, the New York Madam, and the sealed indictments? So Spirit, what can you tell me about David Pecker? Again, not my favorite person, and well named. I mean, seriously, like, could we, get any more symbolic names going on? It's unbelievable sometimes how obvious the universe could be. Let's see, Mr. Pecker. I'm kind of embarrassed even to say that name. Pecker, what does Pecker know? What is he doing? You know how Pecker has that terrible smile on his face? He's always looking like this. It's that fake sort of let's pretend sales smile. That's what he's got on his face right now. And it's fake. Here I am doing this. Don't look behind me. Don't look behind me. And I think that's even the face that he's presenting to Trump right now. Like, oh, don't worry about it. I didn't tell him anything. I didn't tell him anything. I didn't tell him nothing. And in the background, he told it all. Okay, so Spirit, is he in the sealed indictments? All right. Look, it's really interesting that these questions have been asked here by Jen. I see the sides of a pyramid. I actually think these people are forming the sides of the pyramid of the truth that we will understand. I think Jen has picked up on some really key information here, which is, why are these people quiet? And nobody else is quiet. Why these guys? Because they're the people who aren't on TV all the time. You may not know who they look like necessarily. I've never heard Pecker speak about anything. So that they are actually more important witnesses because they're the people down in the trenches doing all the work. They're not the face of it. They are the reality of it. Yeah, look, these three guys are going to help figure out this pyramid, which is first outlined, and now it's getting bricks, bricks, bricks. Again, another brick in the wall, bricks, 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 filing all the way down to the bottom here. Right. Let's see. Yeah, these guys know it all, right? If you got that madam, all these guys together, and you had a conversation with them, you could figure out the 100% of the truth. And even deeper, because that pyramid is going almost like sending rays into the earth. This is very hard to take these days, to live with this terrible, terrible, political situation that we are in. But keep in mind, all of this stuff was true before we noticed it. Kids were in cages before we knew about it, in a way, in a symbolic way. All the most horrific things, like think of the Iraq War and horrible things that happened there, they were all true before Trump came. The difference is Trump is exposing all of it. These guys are underground, but when they are revealed, they will expose everything. Yeah, Pecker's again got that fake smile on his face, but it seems like he's lost everything in the background. Like there's stuff in the background, but he doesn't really have the power to control it. This is what he's been able to escape with: his life and some small amount of money. And that, like, he won't go to jail because he fessed up everything, but he's lost a good deal. He will lose a lot of money, a lot of control, a lot of power. And he actually is kind of just fading into a normal life. Like I don't want anybody to notice who I am. I'm going to shave off my crazy mustache. I'm just going to try to sit in this middle-class house and have people think that I'm not who I am, and I'll just go live in some weird place where nobody knows my face. And like, that would be the best thing for me. That's kind of what he's thinking. Again, these are not ethical people. In Pecker's case, again, it was a choice. He had a choice of power and a choice of righteousness. I mean, he's a newspaper guy. He could have created a true newspaper. Instead, he created something that, deals in gossip and destroys lives. And he chose that. It wasn't forced upon him. He just wanted the power and, the nice car and the people in his car. It's all very superficial. Yeah. He won't go to jail, but he's just going to fade away in sort of an unhappy, unnoticed life where he spends the last days not being flashy, being reminded of who he used to be, and also, just sort of it's a failed life. That is his. And there are some ethical concerns before he goes into the next life. Like, he is a little bit, am I really going to go to hell? Somehow, on some level, he knows he's going to pay a karmic price for this. Yeah, he really blew this lifetime. That's what I get out of it. He could have been a good person. He really chose evil. And that is really just what makes us all human, right? We're all in difficult situations, but we don't necessarily choose evil. He might make mistakes, but he chose it. He knew exactly what he was doing. He just threw ethics to the wind. So anything else? Okay. Anything else on Pecker? Yeah, Trump is mad at him too. And Trump is not afraid of Pecker, right? So Trump's already hung up the phone on him. And he's considered Trump considers him like a traitor, right? And one thing that's interesting about this is that's all the power he had. He only had the power of fake news, of misinformation, of that. Now he's given that up. He doesn't have any real power. Trump is not afraid of him. What are you going to do? You don't have a newspaper anymore, so what are you going to do? He's a little bit tentative about this because Pecker could still make his pronouncements more public. All these things, the reason that all these things have gone quiet is they really are locked away in indictments that are waiting to happen. And I can feel the frustration from everybody going, let's go someplace, let's do something with, let's just move ahead full steam. Trump does that. Why can't the left do that? And I completely agree on a lot of levels. I think we should just go ahead and impeach him, and this process will be more obvious. Let's just cut to the chase here. But understand there is a reasonable argument for doing it in the way that it is happening. These things are revealed, then people have to acknowledge them, then the more is revealed. If we were to hit, 100, from 0 to 100 right now and get to it, there might be massive chaos in this nation. there would be 30% of the people who are going to go get their guns and start shooting, right? We cannot have that. And I think that some of our leaders recognize the really fraught danger that we are in, and they're trying to deliver this stuff without too much of a shock. Remember also that these indictments are there, and there's not necessarily any good reason why they're waiting. But one reason could be, and this is mostly Dave talking, it's not necessarily Spirit, but if we start doing the indictments, Trump will just dangle a pardon over everyone, and we may never get to the truth. It's almost like we have to wait till 9 months before the election, and then we start doing it, because the trials won't be finished in time before Trump's election, and he can't obfuscate all of this. And that'll bring more pressure on the witnesses to tell the truth. So Spirit, what do you think of Dave's opinion? Well, Spirit's showing me like marionette strings. These things are being pulled. So while there's marionette strings on the right, I understand that the Southern District of New York, they've got their own marionette strings to pull. And those guys are no dummies. Look, they're from New York. Okay, they've seen it all. They've done it all. They know what goes on. They've seen every kind of crime. They're familiar with Trump's MO. It's not a big deal. They're just like, yeah, well, you know, the more pressure mounts, the more anger mounts, the better it is for them. They don't have much to lose. They're not going to run for office per se. That soon. They're really just doing it for this, in a way, for the sake of the whole country. They're waiting until more momentum grows, until more information grows, and until it is too late for Trump. Because Trump can't control the Southern District of New York. But I guess my final message here is that, you know, I see Nancy Pelosi with cards. Remember, and I don't want to say don't impeach right now or something like that, but do remember this: Pelosi does have all the cards. You know, these guys have all the powers. It might seem like they're frustrating the Democrats. The Democrats are sort of there going, well, like, look at the numbers. We're not going to lose the next election. We should just deal these out when it's appropriate. You know, like boom. And you know, justice takes time. It's frustrating in our world, because we watch the news and it's happening every second. It's an emergency. Well, you know, part of that is exploited. And part of that is also, remember that justice and democracy take longer than fascism. That just how fascism means one person decides overnight. And it's very frustrating when you're watching this fascist do these fascist things and you're responding with democracy. That's frustrating. Don't misunderstand me. Don't stop putting pressure on your, you know, peeps, whoever they are, you know, whether they be politicians or anything else. Don't stop doing that, because it is essential to this process. But that process, some people know more about what they're doing than you think. It might look like they're sitting around, but behind the scenes, a lot of stuff is going on. We have to encourage them to keep doing that and put a lot of pressure on them. But marionettes, that's what I get. Various marionettes are playing. They're playing things behind the scenes, which we don't know about. And they will, okay, at a certain point, the marionette drops and it's all revealed. Can we get something, any time frame here? Seriously, sometimes it's, maybe it's clear about time, but my interpretations aren't perfect at all. Am I getting October? The marionettes drop in October. Something happens in August. All right. So just one more thing that I am getting from Spirit. It's over. You know, the days where we were, you know, thinking Trump would get more and more power, those days are done. Trump's power is less and less and less every single day. He loses any ability to be effective. You know, it's not like we should stop putting pressure, because, you know, there is this whole question about Iran, and will he try to start this war in Iran? I get no. This is another component in his succession of absolute and total failures. Like, here he's raised the hackles of Iran, but he hasn't. Pompeo is not convincing Europeans to support us in this war. And that's another thing. We now have no power. We now, thanks to Trump, have no power over Europe to do anything to back us up. So, if Europeans aren't convinced about Iran, who is going to be convinced about Iran and back us up? And Trump really is a wimp. Remember, he did not sign up for war because he's really a chicken. He's a little chicken. And so he's just as chicken when it comes to war with those countries too. And part of it is, his constituency doesn't want a war. They don't. They're crazy people that are sort of obsessed about America. They're not so obsessed about starting another war in another country. So, I'm sure there's just fringe elements, but not all of them are going to buy it. And he knows that the base that is 30%, 25% are not going to accept war with Iran. That is a step too far. So this is just egg on his face. He just looks like a fool trying to start a war and failing to do so. This is a round that Iran is winning. And you know what? I hate to say it, but it's about time. I'm no supporter of Iran. I don't believe that women should be treated that way. I don't think that you should be forced to wear certain clothing by your government. That's just told that there will be a massive spiritual download on the dates of the solstice, and they're different depending on where you live. But it's around the 21st. Look at the look at the life you're leading in the situation you're in. Don't drink lots of water, get lots of rest, because Spirit is doing a massive, massive download onto the human race to try to elevate us. Just be very aware, be sort of respectful in a sense, and understand that you will be getting this download. So there might be a lot happening around you in your life. It'll be good, but ideally you would be sort of aware of what's going on for you at that particular moment in time. What comes up, what surprises, I think they'll mostly be good, but it will be shocking. So it might be that, people who are not really in line, people who are way whacked out on Trump or something like that, they might start acting all crazy, or maybe information is revealed that, exposes them for what's going on. But understand that on those particular days, just be aware, write down anything that happens. It will essentially, because it can get pretty intense reading. And I'll just take a look at everybody. Hey, hi. And of course, the first person I see is Georgia Moon. What a coincidence, right? Thanks, Dave. Thank you, Georgia. Hi, Linda Sandoval. Hi, you guys. Wonder if the numbers are right. I hate missing what Dave says. Yeah, okay, yeah, you guys just go ahead with the spam thing. Yeah, I'll see if I can undo this. All right, thanks for watching.